Hello, investors. This is Ted Zhang, portfolio manager at Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, June 25th, 4:52 p.m. Coming to you from Fort Lauderdale with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. State of the market, we are in an uptrend. Of course, we had an all-time high QQQ close yesterday, and we followed through with another all-time high today. Market leaders are in uptrend, although we did see some pop and squat action and weakness across many leaders. So we're going to continue to monitor that action, and if leaders start breaking the 21 EMA and deteriorating further, we may have to move the green arrow to neutral. Short term, index is well above the 21 EMA, green arrow. Index is well above the 50-day moving averages, green arrow. And then long term, we still currently have at neutral right now, just because mid caps, Dow, and small caps are still struggling. What happened today? Pop and squat action, little follow through as well. 21 over 21 list down 0.89%, 7 up, 3 neutral, 11 down. Turbo 12 down 1.37%, 3 up, 1 neutral, 8 down. Big 8 up 0.35%, with Nvidia carrying the day, 4.33% up on the day, and an all-time high. RGA down 1.19%, S&P flat at 0%, RSP down 0.72%, QQQ down up 0.26%, QQEW down 0.56%, Dow Jones down 0.25%, mid caps down 0.8%, small caps down 1.16%, global 60/40s equities bonds down 0.05%, pretty much flat. GROTECTION pretty much flat, down 0.1%, and Turbo down 0.83%. So jumping right into it as always, starting off with S&P 500. We pretty much briefly made a higher high early in the morning, stalled, and then just kind of rolled over and based all day. Really tight range, to be honest. 30-point range between 60/80 and 60/110. That was the range. Tight day. No fall through though, but still constructive action in the S&P 500. RSP down more than S&P, rejected 180 after yesterday's strong fall through. The Qs made a new higher high and a new all-time high out of this couple candle breakout. This is primarily led by Nvidia, up, like I said, over 4% today. We'll definitely talk about that chart. QQEW also pulled back. This is just signaling breadth is much weaker with the RSP, QQEW. And now we'll look at the Dow, which is all red today, mid caps and small caps. Dow is down 0.25 inside day. Mid caps down 0.8%, projected the 200-day moving average once again, but starting the base up here. IWM didn't even get to the 200 and broke back below the declining 150-day moving average. So that is why we still have the long-term trend at neutral. VIX continues to make lower lows, closed at 16.76, which is a great sign. We're heading to the zone of lower volatility here, as you can see on the Nasdaq and S&P. But on the flip side, there was some volatility in the leading stocks. Dollar continues lower, rejects the 50-day moving average, back below 21, and now we're trading at the lows again. Gold kind of just basing back to the 50-day. With 21 EMA starting to hook down though, and with the 2150 cross, that does put the intermediate trend in bearishness. GDX found support at the 50 or near the 50 in just a tight day at the 21 now. Silver continues to stay strong. Hammer off the 21 EMA also holds this gap, days low, and we're continued higher today. Bitcoin was one of the stronger names in the market, or asset classes, or securities, whatever you want to classify Bitcoin as. We had this undercut reclaim of 100,000. Really nice follow through. Pretty much perfect follow through after UNR. And there's a power 3 setup now. The 10, 20, and 50 stacked super tight. We have this downtrend line right here that's coming up against and over 111,000. That's really the true breakout. I mean, Bitcoin just looks amazing right now. Cup with handle undercut reclaimed the 10-week moving average. Now it's just finally finishing building the right side of its base. This looks really good. And then finally, bonds, 2 years down 3.5 basis points, starting to trend lower. That means the 2-year bonds are trending higher. 10-year has lower as well, as more dovish Fed presidents are talking about rate cuts coming earlier than expected after the last FOMC meeting. Powell also said if inflation continues to come lower than expected, perhaps there could be an earlier rate cut. So that being said, that is it for the inter-asset correlation. I'll go to the tail of the tape now. Sentiment, it's good to see the VIX below 17. CNN fear and greed went up by 2 to 59. Bull case, we're still under the bull case. News saw weak home sales today. Maybe that's what put a damper onto the markets. Of course, we can't find an explanation for everything precisely. So that could just be one reason, the weak new home sales. Wednesday's keys coming to today. S&P versus 21 EMA. This range is 59.63 to 61.47 range in the Qs, 21 EMA, and this 525 to 540 range. And finally, the Russell versus the 21 EMA into the 200-day moving average, which we rejected. Day count, we have up 1 and consolidation 1, 3 days above the 8 EMA, 43 days above the 21 EMA, which is getting longer in a typical run above the 21. Short-term expectations are still positive. Action, pretty much what I said. We got the little bit pushed to the highs of the day, and then we just based in its 30-point range for the rest of the day. Final sectors, bonds are pretty much neutral, down a little bit. Sorry, up a little bit. Semis, mega caps, silver, tech. Dollar is down. Airlines, oil, home builders, discretionary, and natural gas. Today in Grow, all we did is sell CoreWeave. It's a broke back below. Saw a failed breakout from the high tide flag. 1.31 beta, 5.21% open heat. Turbo, we bought and sold OKLO. They had some news partnering with companies to develop high assay, low enriched uranium, which is the type of uranium used in nuclear fuel, not the weapons grade uranium. That's why LDU, which is in our portfolio, made such a big move. So we thought that news event would mean something. But today just wasn't a day for momentum. A lot of stocks gapped up and just sold off all day. And we'll see that in some names when we go over them in the 21/21 list and the Turbo 12. So 1.27 beta, 4.75% open heat. Pop and squat action, little follow through. So let's talk about CoreWeave first. You can see this is a high tide flag breakout, and we just really couldn't get anywhere. Struggled the last few days, and now we broke back below, so we pretty much closed it near break even. In terms of OKLO, just bearish engulfing. We got the button news, it's above the left side peak, and really pushed initially and then just stopped at the end. We just had to get out. Still above the 21 EMA though. In terms of the rest of the positions, we need to talk about Nvidia, right? So let's do that, and then we'll go over the rest of the grow positions and Turbo as well. So Nvidia was up 4.33%, is a new all-time high. I mean, this is the number one consequential name in the market, and it continues to be new all-time high with the relative strength as well. And this is almost a 4 trillion market cap now. The world needs compute. Every major technologist in AI says they can't get enough of compute. And the way to scale AI is more compute, more data centers, more energy, more power generation. And that's coupled with their R&D for algorithms as well as more data. So those 3 themes, compute, data center related names, infrastructure, energy, the grid, algorithms, and data will continue to be major themes in the coming years and decades ahead. There's a major AI race between China and the US, the 2 top global competitors for top dog, and that's not going to stop. It's like the new age Manhattan Project. So let's go over the rest of the other names. Talk about Bitcoin already. Spotify briefly made new all-time highs, but reversed back in. It's just trending nicely, nothing too much to talk about. GV also made new all-time high, but came back in as well. Like I said, the pop and squat theme. Hood, same thing. Got the pushed higher and squatted. Palantir, same thing. Got the pushed higher and squatted. CoreWeave squatted as well. NBIZ, same thing. Got up and squatted and saw bearish engulfing. This is near, um, this is kind of near a stop, which is 47 area. We're giving it a chance. It's up 1.22% after hours, after MEU earnings. And now we'll finish rest of Turbo's positions. LEU is the only one that Grow doesn't own at this moment. And this is still trending nicely above the 21 EMA. So let's go talk about ME earnings. It's up 3.6% on earnings, so that's definitely a good thing for the semiconductor index. SOX is up 0.67% off that as well. So that being said, that's it for the tail of the tape. Let's go over. I want to talk about CoreWeave and Circle together. These are two recent IPOs that have seen 300% plus moves. And we like to say that they're the barometers of the momentum cycle and momentum stocks. And CoreWeave currently looks like it probably potentially topped out at 300. The IPO price, initial price, is about 31. That's almost a 10x within a few weeks. And now we're already back down to 200. So that's a 33% correction already. It looks like it was an exhaustive move. And this could be a damper on momentum currently. And coupled with that is CoreWeave coming back in. That as well with the other momentum names like SMR. We had a nice 18% update yesterday, but we returned with the 10% down day. OKLO, like what we talked about, bearish engulfing. NNE also bearish engulfing. LEU is the strongest, but still pulling back. Quantum momentum, INOQ leaking off again. RGTI rejecting 21 EMA, bearish engulfing. QUBT fading as well, bearish engulfing. QBTS rejected that decline in 21 EMA and heads lower and starting to fill this gap. So those are some major momentum names starting to falter here. So that's not the best sign for at least momentum trading. But quality names like Nvidia, new all-time high. So the leaders are still acting well, like the liquid leaders like Nvidia, Palantir, Spotify, Hood, GEV, and more. So that's the status of those names. Let's go over the 21 over 21 list, at least top 5 up names and down names. We already talked about Nvidia, so I'll skip that. Coin is something we're stocking after the stablecoin Senate regulatory clarity news. Came out of this cheap flag really nicely. So far, we've bumped into this previous high. We really need to see some sideways before we can get interested in buying the name. Net broke out of this huge cup, just continued to trend higher. Zscaler has been trending out of this huge base. Cybersecurity names are always going to be needed with data being so critical to the build of AI and this world with AI military as well. Robinhood, talked about that already. And on the downside, talked about CoreWeave multiple times. Talked about NBIZ already too. Tempest AI continues to struggle against 72 level. Highs of the day was 71.37. Bearish engulfing closed below the 21 EMA. And that is starting to roll over. So it's starting to get a little bit more ominous. See volume elevated a little bit. Tesla completely just failed. Nice breakout. It was up 8% on the RoboTaxi launch, but there's been some news, whether fake or real, that there's some uncertainties regarding the RoboTaxi. RoboTaxi drove into the other side of the lane, so people are still concerned about the safety issues and viability of RoboTaxi. Also, there was a person sitting in, or people sitting in the passenger seats of RoboTaxi in case something were to go wrong and they could execute maybe an emergency stop or something. EQT, natural gas name, breaks out of this flat base, nice VCP characteristics. And this is just coming back to retest the top of the base. So that is fine actually for now, but we don't want that to see failed breakout. Spotify, talked about this, continues to trend so nicely. GEV as well, and DoorDash as well. So now let's finally go over the Turbo 12. Biggest mover, AAOI, broke back above the 200-day and now back above the 150-day. ATOS Aerospace Defense then continues to trend nicely above the 21 EMA. Off Trump's executive orders for rare earth mineral mining, MP has been one of the bigger winners, made a 100% move, now pulling back and forming a flag. This is definitely one we're watching closely here. Rare earth minerals are critical for semiconductors, for renewable energy, for EVs, for batteries, for nearly everything. It's a huge part of the AI stack. Guardian Health, just still basing here. They have a great cancer diagnostics, but it just needs a catalyst right now to be good. INOD really hasn't done much. Tried popping out yesterday, pulled back in, still riding in 21. EMA started to form this flag here. Dave, reclaimed 21 EMA, almost back to new highs. Cecil, super strong, new all-time highs, reverse back in, still above 150, but this trend is one of the best. Wish all stocks can act like that. Auto Tech, tried to break out this flag, but came back in, closed below the 21 EMA. It's another one of those EPs on good earnings that can lead to sustained and big moves. Came out at like 50, now it hit around 80, it's like a 60% move. QBT talked about that. Hinge Health is a recent IPO with AI, I believe, healthcare devices, retesting the top of the base. LEU, perfect action still. And then Lemonade, just pulling back in, but still riding the 21 EMA nicely. So again, bottom line is pop and squat action, a little follow through. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. Today's Wednesday, June 25th. If you're interested in what we do and have any questions, please reach out to me at ted@revereasset.com. You can also reach out to me at Twitter or X at TedHZhang. Our phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. And our website is revereasset.com. Our social medias, YouTube, X, Instagram, and TikTok, all at Revere Asset. And if you enjoy our content, please like, share, and subscribe, as that really helps us with the YouTube and social media algorithms. We want to get our message out to more people in this world, as we really believe in our process of risk management, growing during uptrends and protecting during corrections and downtrends. That being said, I'm going to wrap today's video. Thank you for listening and have a great rest of your week.